Hey, hello, welcome to your service learning orientation. I'm excited that you could join me, and hopefully throughout this time that we're together, you're gonna, I'm gonna answer all your questions and put you at ease with the service learning experience. During this time, I'm gonna talk to you about what service learning is, the paperwork that needs to be submitted, how and where you find the partners you can serve at, and just know I'll use like partner, school, agency, site. I'll use those interchangeably. That's just the location you're doing the service at, as well as some benefits you can gain from the service experience. Because what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. So with that, I'm Dawn Rhodes. I serve as the Service Learning Program Coordinator here at Mesa Community College, and I've been doing this for over 19 years, and I love it. I love seeing the impact that you as students make in our community, as well as the impact that it has on you. So if you're ready to dive in, sit back, relax, yet stay attentive, because I have lots to cover, and we'll go through this. So this first website, this is just our department website. It is a very valuable tool for what you'll need. These buckets or images at the top, those change often. So I encourage you to come back to our website. We're making a few minor changes to it, so things might lay out a little bit different, yet there's links to different awards and scholarships. Yet where I'm going to go to is the first, the Forms tab, which I already have open. And then where you'll go is you need to go to the service learning paperwork. So this orientation is for all prefixes what the instructors are incorporating service learning in, so minus the EDU and EED prefixes and SW291. If you're any of those courses or group projects or short-term projects, this is not your orientation. So this is individual placements for all prefixes except for, again, EDU, EED, and SW291. So the top, that's your paperwork that you're going to click on the link. I actually have it already open. So in this document, you're going to find all these forms. Everything I'm going to say throughout the orientation, for the most part, is written in these forms somehow, some way. The first document in this packet is a flyer about submitting your service learning paperwork. You also probably have this in your Canvas page. So what you'll do is you're going to submit 3 forms. The first 2 forms before you start your service, the log when you're done with your hours. And as it says, PDFs are preferred. Sorry, JPEGs are really hard to read. So here's some tips and tricks on how to get your documents into PDF form. You will submit them by way of sending us an email at servicelearning@mesacc.edu or by way of fax at 480-844-3148. Whatever method you use to send, make sure you put in the subject line your course name, your section number, and your instructor's last name. That way we connect it to your correct class and you're getting credit for it. So as you can see, again, service learning at mesacc.edu if you have any questions. And then we also, as staff, are on Cranium Cafe that you can virtually knock on our door, and either myself or one of the other staff who are available can assist you. The in-course, so then the next pages are just some introductory pages and whatnot. So let's talk, what is service learning? Service learning, by definition here at Mesa Community College, is that it's a teaching and learning method that combines meaningful service to the community with academic instruction. You're probably saying, Dawn, what does all that jargon really mean? Well, what that means to you is your instructor is breaking down their classroom walls, even if it's virtual, and having you go out into the community to serve tied to what they're teaching you. Because what's the best way most people learn? Hopefully you responded hands-on or by doing, because we know that most people learn best by doing, by being involved, right? And so that's why your instructors, They see the value in this experience, and I hope throughout your end of your time, you really tell them, thank you for incorporating this, because you can use this in real world, real life experience. And as you see, some of the focus areas are critical thinking and problem solving. Do you think it's important that you know how to solve problems and think critically? Yeah, you betcha. Values clarification. What do you value? What does society value, especially as it relates to your topic, your class, discussions? Career exploration. This is your chance to explore a career. A lot of our students end up with fuller part-time jobs as a result of their service learning. How cool is that? However, man, you get to meet people in different fields. Social and personal development. Oh, this is probably my favorite, because you as the individual, you have the opportunity to change because of the impact you're making on the community, as well as the impact you're having on yourself. And then civic and community responsibility, or community and civic engagement, that's the last. That's, besides being one of the 4 C's, or 4 student learning outcomes, it actually is the reason why higher education was founded in our country. They wanted to create an engaged and enlightened citizen. And as you can see below, there's the definition we use at Mesa Community College for civic and community engagement. There's our department contact information. Normally when we're on campus, those are our locations. As of right now, all of our staff are working virtually. So if and when we return to campus, that's where you'll find us. So let's go to the next page. Awesome. This forms overview, this is telling you everything you need to know. So this column on my left, that is, if you're like, what did she say? You can read that, and pretty much everything is there. The when, as far as due dates, those aren't there. It's more the order. You need to refer to your instructor's syllabus as when those forms are due. Fingerprint clearance cards, some of the agencies require it, some don't. We do have information if you need to obtain one. We have that information on our website. The placement process, which I'll walk through, so hang tight. Paperwork, again, it talks about what's needed. Service learning assistants. We are going to be recruiting. If your instructor ends up doing this, they will post something probably in your Canvas or send an email or something about the service learning assistant position. It's going to look a little bit different in this virtual world. Yeah, it's a great, great, great service and leadership opportunity. Some of the things you're going to do is assist with like reminding your classmates of, due dates, cheerleading them on if they need help finding their placement, things like that. Some of those, extra little steps. Think of it about being like the teacher's personal assistant or teacher's assistant, and then helping me with this experience. So yeah, I'm a little partial to it. I think it's really cool. There's been some awesome benefits beyond just doing this and helping and making a difference. Oh, just because I see certificates written there, I'll talk about it now. One of the cool benefits is that we make certificates that say where you served, how many hours you served, and my director of our department will sign those. Great, great thing to have for your portfolios, to document your service and whatnot. As I mentioned, where can you serve? We're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to scroll up a bit to just show you this telephone protocol. Please read this. It would also be beneficial to read it. It should probably also say something about telephone and email protocol. So know when you go to these sites that you represent not only yourself, you represent your instructor, our department, and the college, so you don't want to ruin it for any other students who may come after you. So it's really important that when you call, if you call, because not all the agencies will you actually make phone calls to, that when you call, say, hey, actually not probably hey, hi, I'm Don Rhodes. I'm a Mesa Community College student, and I'm in CRE 101 critical reading class at Mesa Community College, and I get to do 20 hours of service. Do you have an opportunity for me? Versus, hi, this is Don Rhodes. I have to do 20 hours of service. Can you just get me in? Let me ask you, which one would you want to be on the receiving end of? Number 1 or number 2? Hopefully you said call number 1. And little tidbit, If you don't want to be placed in the agency's court-ordered community service program, then you really want to let them know you're a Mesa Community College student. Oh, and another little tidbit on there is it actually reminds you to leave your phone number. Because I've had a handful of students who've called agencies, and the agency said, I would have loved to return Joe's call. He just didn't leave his phone number. So there you go, telephone protocol. Into the benefits. Why would you want to participate in service learning? Besides it being a course, requirement for your class. So yeah, service learning is you're going to go out and it's not volunteerism because you're not just going to go out to volunteer. You're not going to get paid. So you are going to go serve, yet you don't get paid to take your math test or write your English papers, do you? So this is just another way of doing an assignment, doing the actual primary research for whatever your instructor is having you learn in that course. And then we expand onto these benefits. So as you scan that list, which ones excite you? Which ones resonate with you? Is it hands-on learning? Is it networking? Is it, getting that, enhancing your scholarship resumes or enhancing just your resume? Whatever it is for you, again, what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. If you want this to be a boring, dumb, stupid assignment that you just get done, it will be just that. It will be a boring, dumb, stupid assignment. Yet if you want it to be something exciting that I want to go make a difference, like I really want to apply what my instructor's teaching me to my experience, then it will be that. So it's up to you to decide what you gain out of this experience. Do you want to extend your experience from your class and earn a college credit? You totally can. You can earn a 1, 2, or 3 credit hour. You do pay for it as you would any other credit. You actually register for these courses through our office. And there's some reasons why you might want to do it. So if you are interested you can ask your instructor, or you can visit our website and look more about the independent module, is what we refer to it as, or shoot us an email and we can, connect with you. Making a difference grants. We have funds not to pay you, yet to support your service learning. How cool would it be if you said, hey, if I had an extra $100, is there an activity or a project or something I can do to better your agency? Not too many agencies are going to turn you away. So let me give you an example of a student. He was serving at the United Food Bank, and it wasn't his whole service yet. The example I'm going to use is he had to take food from one part of the storage room to the other part of the storage room, quite a distance away. And it was a bunch of food. And their dolly had just broke. Well, previously he had written the grant to just buy food to donate. And I'm like, oh, sorry, young man. We don't just buy stuff to donate. It really needs to be something you're doing about your service. So I said, tell me what you're doing. He's like, well, I'm moving the stuff from one side of the storage room to the other side. And it's taking a long time because their dolly just broke. And I said, what if you applied for a dolly? Would that help you be better at your service? And he goes, yeah, it would. So I can apply for that? To even then, the groups of students who have gone and they were serving at a couple different organizations pop into mind. It was a big event, and they were teaching individuals about their culture as well as like plants and food from their culture. Well, the agency didn't have funds to get those foods and plants, so they applied for the grant. So there's been amazing things that our students have done with this grant. The key though is to apply early, not spend any funds till you're approved, and it must be meeting a need of the agency. And so on that forms page I showed you, the link to the application is just below this paperwork. And thank you to any of you who've ever lost anything at Mesa Community College and never have claimed it. We probably have sold it or will sell it at our annual Lost and Found sale. Well, joking yet seriously aside, do you know where you go if you need to, or if you've lost something and want to claim it? You go to College Police, and I highly recommend that if they ask for your number, give it to them. So thank you again. That's how we fund our Making a Difference grants. There are more scholarships and awards for you as students as a result of your service and your leadership than ever before. It's about being in the know, staying connected to our office, participating in things. And this service learning experience you get to do for your class, high fives, it can help you enhance your resumes. Okay, this selection of partners, again, agency partners, site, school, community partner, agency, all those different things, that's the name, or that's where you're doing your service, the location you're doing your service at. I'm not going to go through it right now because I'm going to actually walk you through the database. Yet if you're like, what did she say? You can refer back to this page and it will show you that. Okay, those pages above, I don't want you to submit those to me. Okay, those are just all your instructions page. I don't want you to submit now this letter. Let's talk about this letter though. This letter you should give to the agency you are serving at. So the agency you're serving at should get this letter, and you're going to fill in your information and your instructor's information right here. That way they can get a hold of you, your instructor, or us if they have any questions or concerns. I highly encourage you to read this letter before you leave it with them. Okay, so now everything from this letter up, I don't want back. So don't submit these forms to me. Those were just the letter to the agency, and the other forms were for your information. Now, these forms I do want and need back. So if you're still hanging with me, take a stretch and let's talk paperwork, and probably throw out some more benefits and stuff like that. Okay, so this confirmation form and agreement of conduct. This, I like to say, this is a contract between you and the agency you're serving at, because that's where you're going to agree to what you're going to do and when you commit to being there. So the top headers, please fill in everything. If it asks for your student ID and your MEID, please put them, because I need that information so I can make sure that I put it, connect it, and have that information, and can give your instructors updates in a timely manner. Then, primary versus secondary courses. So let's say you are in more than one class incorporating service learning. Think, is that you? Do you have more than one instructor asking you to do service learning? So if that is you, you're going to pick your primary class. The primary class is typically the class with the most hours. And then you're going to list your other classes. That's only if the service you're doing relates to multiple classes. For instance, one of our critical reading classes, that instructor has you go out and pick an agency and a topic you're passionate about. And then you will serve, and then you're going to critically read articles tied to that subject matter. So that course might be your primary service learning course. And then let's say you're in a sociology class, the Sociology 101, and that's basically like studies of people and groups and things in that area. So as long as you're working with people in a topic you're passionate about, you're doing your service, and it's related to both course objectives, right? So let's say you had 20 hours for your critical reading class and 20 hours for your sociology. That looks like you're going to have to do 40 hours. Well, really, in essence, you'll have to just do 20 or whatever the max number is for your primary class. You can absolutely go beyond that. Because remember how I mentioned those certificates? The more you document, those hours will be on your certificate. So you're going to list your primary, you're going to list your secondary, if you have more than one, your third class. And as it says on the note, the certificates will only be issued in your primary service learning class. Then you have your agency's information that you fill in. This bottom portion where it says hours and responsibilities. When you set up these responsibilities, they first and foremost must meet your course objectives. So I've kind of mentioned some. So if you're not sure what your course objective is around the service learning, please ask your instructor. So first and foremost, meeting your course objective, something you're comfortable and able to do, and third, meets a need of the agency. So let's kind of break that down. So let's say I'm serving at, since I've already used United Food Bank, and I part of my role is I'm intaking the people as they come for their food box pickups. And like making sure their documents are there, and then I just help customers and keep them in line and, you know, whatever, that kind of stuff. Well, if all of a sudden they're like, hey, Dawn, the next like dozen people all speak Spanish, so I need to make sure that you know how to speak Spanish and that you can help them. That wouldn't be something I'm comfortable and able to do because my Spanish is very limited. So I might have to say, you know what, I can help them. I can collect their paperwork, but making sure it's correct and able to really communicate them, I'm going to need another, you know, staff member who actually, or volunteer who actually speaks Spanish. Yet does meet a need of the agency. So an example of that is like, say you're, you know, working in, you know, at a school and the teacher's like, hey, here's a stack of papers. Can you grade these? Well, yeah, you might, that's a need, yet you don't want to do it the full time. Another caveat to my presentation. Let's say I give a lot of kiddos and kid examples of placements. They're just sometimes the easiest ones. Just know you do not need to serve with kids. They're just easy examples to give. So we have a ton of placements that involve people and don't involve people, involve kids and don't involve kids. So that's the cool thing, is you get to find your place and placement. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, do you understand the responsibilities that you got to meet your course objectives? Sign up something you're comfortable and able to do, yet also meets a need of the agency. So, and then also below that just talks about days and times that you're going to do your service. You really want to set this up like you would a class. So if you're going to go Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 to 1 or whatever, so break it down. I'll also say like 20 hours. I'm going to just go to do easy math, like over a 10 weeks of a semester. How many hours a week is that? That's 2 hours. So if you can break it down and spread it out over the semester, that's really where the best learning occurs. So really, again, establish it like you would a class. The agreement of conduct. Read this. It's really important that you understand that you represent yourself, as I mentioned, your instructor, our department, and the college, so you don't want to ruin it for any other students who may come after you. Some of this stuff in the agreement of conduct, it talks about showing up when you say you're going to show up, doing what you say you're going to do, attire. Find out what is appropriate with the agencies of what you should wear, because some of them required closed-toed shoes, or, you know, no, like certain shirts. Maybe they have a uniform that they require. Yet always avoid the 3 B's. That's no boobs, no butts, no bellies. You want to cover those up. Some agencies don't allow hats, multiple piercings, printed shirts, things like that. So I encourage you to like dress to impress, especially if you're meeting them for an interview, because they're going to interview you like you're going to interview them to see if it's a good fit. I would dress to impress and then ask them what is appropriate after that, right? What you should wear. So read that agreement of conduct and understand what's expected of you as far as the service learning. Then you're going to have your supervisor sign it and you're going to sign it. These 2 signatures are required. Let's say you do meet with your connect and make all your agreements by way of email. You can attach that final email, like you could say see attached, and you can put that confirmation email that says, yes, I, Susie Smith, will be supervising Joe Smith. We'll accept that in lieu of that signature there. So those 2 are required, okay? And then this photo release, this is optional. We would love and hope to capture some of your photos. We also do on our department's website have a reflections page. So if you want to be featured on our website and have your service learning reflection featured there, awesome. Complete that form. If you have photos, then also sign this photo release. Keep in mind though, on the photos, who else is in the background, because if we can distinguish who they are, we'd probably need their photo release to be able to use it. So that form, the confirmation form, those 2 pages, those get turned in before you start your service, along with this assumption, risk, and release liability. This assumption, risk, and release liability, if I get no other form, I have to have this form. So it is vital that you turn this one in. This one takes no one else's signature unless you're under 18, and then it takes a parent or legal guardian. So there's a few things on this form you need to fill out. The first line is your printed name. The second line is the agency you're going to serve at. I've already filled in the third and fourth line with the very first day of the semester to the very last day of the semester. That is not your due date. That's not when the hours are due or when your assignment's due. I just covered the whole semester for your sanity as well as my sanity. So it's really important that you read and sign this. You need to know that you're reliable and responsible for yourself. And as I mentioned, it takes no one else's signature unless you're under 18, and then you must have a parent or legal guardian. So you are responsible for yourself. So you got to think safety for yourself as well as the safety of those you're working with. One of the things that we ask is that you're never left alone with children or vulnerable populations. So if, Mr. Joe is like, hey, Susie, you're doing awesome with these kids. I'm going to go. I'll be about 5 minutes. I just got to run to the restroom. Hey, thank you, Mr. Joe. You got to stay here. I need you to stay here with me, get another staff member, or just hold it or take the kids with you. Whatever you decide, yet I'm not able to be left alone with these children. Or let's say you're servant at the senior center and Grandma Gertrude was like, hey, Sonny, I would like to play bingo with you. Can you get me out of my chair and sit me at the table so we can play bingo? Hey, Grandma Gertrude, I would love to throw down bingo because, I'm Joe. I'm strong. Like, I could pick up Grandma easy and put her in her chair. Yet you don't know if Grandma Gertrude has a broken hip or a back problem. So you're going to be like, I'd love to play bingo with you. Yet I need to get another staff member who knows how to, get you out of your chair. And then we'll absolutely play bingo. Cool? So again, thinking safety for yourself as well as safety of those you're working with. If we can do that, say yes. So we're going to scroll down. Then those two forms, confirmation form, sumptuous, get turned in before you start your service. And then this last form is your contact log. And I'm going to just scroll. This is where you're going to say when you were there, what you did, and then total your hours. It really is that just a brief description of your service. File types, answer phones, played bingo with Grandma Gertrude, played basketball with the kids, created purple ribbons for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, whatever it is. We don't want to see just observation. Service learning is not observation. We just don't want you sitting back at the agency observing what's going on. However, service learning is observation. And what I mean by that is we want you observing, how is this agency set up? How are these clients receiving their service? How is what my instructor teaching me relating to what I'm doing? What am I applying in my own learning? So those observation critical thinking skills. However, if they have you sit like the first time or two so they get a feel for you and you get a feel for them, fine, document it. Just, we don't want you doing that for your full service learning hours. As you can see at the very bottom, really important that you track your hours this way. It's for your math sanity as well as my math sanity. And then just right above it is, just like the initial forms, make sure you fill in all of the information. If you have more than one class, you're going to pick your primary and then you're going to list your other classes. That way you get your grades in those classes. So you want to make sure they're listed there. And as it says, the certificates are only issued in the primary service learning class. This evaluation is really important you have completed at the end. Hey, Mr. Joe, I'm done with my hours. Can you take a few minutes to evaluate me? Really important, especially if you've consistently come throughout the semester at a certain day and time. Do you think they've built you in to their programming and what they're going to be offering that day? You betcha. So if you just all of a sudden don't show up, do you think it might look bad on you? Probably. And then I get the call saying, hey, where is Susie? She's been great. She's not here. So you want to make sure, first and foremost, you add that closure. Can you say closure? Closure. That's why we do this evaluation, so they know you're done with your hours. Their chance to offer you a job, their chance to say, hey, if you want to continue volunteer or ever come back, please do. Hopefully not. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. The second reason why we do this evaluation is so you see how well you're doing or areas that you may need to improve upon, besides validating, obviously, your hours, because this proof is what we need for your certificates. If this evaluation is good, I highly encourage you to keep a copy of it. Because let's say, going back to that career exploration, let's say you are interviewing for a job and they're like, tell me about a time where you met a need in the community and worked with a diverse group of people. And you're like, oh, awesome. In my class at Mesa Community College, I went and served at this agency. This is what I did. This is what skills I gained. This is the experiences I had. Oh, and look. This is what my supervisor had to say about me. And better yet, here is a certificate I received for completing that experience. How awesome is that? So again, I highly encourage you to keep a copy of this contact logs. They are due whenever it is due on your instructor's syllabus. So that is the forms. I pulled them off of our department's website under the Forms tab. Under the Forms tab here. So let's talk agencies. Where can you serve? Because you must serve at one of our approved community partners. And that means that they have a legal agreement on file with our district legal as well as provide us with certificate of insurance. So I just went to our service site, which can be found down here from the homepage or any of the pages you're on. I already loaded it. If you don't have your packet with you, because those instructions, remember, were on the pages up, all those instructions are also condensed and put here. Where you're going to go is you're going to click this blue Access the Service Sites database. Everyone is going to sign in as a guest. You will sign in as a guest. You do not use your MEID and password. You sign in as a guest. So in here, we have three categories. The agency category, and I'm just going to click Perform Search Now button right here. And this is just a laundry list of our active partners, and it changes all the time of the active partners. So what you'll do is if you have no clue where you want to serve, this might be a great, place to start. It's just a whole laundry list, and it lists, the agency's description, service, if they have requirements, if their hours of operation, and their disciplines. I would not hold hard and fast to these disciplines, because this really is like me or the agency saying, okay, this is what we know about these disciplines. This is what we know about the service. I could see some opportunity within these disciplines. So that's just the agency partners. The school-based partners, I'm going to click Perform Search Now. So I click the school-based tab, Perform Search Now. These are the school districts we have partnerships. As you can see, though, especially this semester, the placements, they might have limited placements, and that's actually with all of our community partners. And at the moment you call, they might not have anything available. Yet each school district is as different as you and I in their placement process. So it's really important with the schools or even the other organizations that you follow their placement processes. Like I said, in in your service learning, you don't necessarily have to work with kiddos. It just really depends on your course objectives and what your instructor wants you to get out of it. So I'm going to click on Mesa Public Schools. They have their rules. So if you're doing 60 hours or less, you should not need to be fingerprinted. If you're going to do 61 hours or more, you should provide a fingerprint clearance card. Both those also have additional paperwork that you would complete. So again, each school district's different. So read their headers. Chandler, for instance, you submit your request to me, I send it off to them, they get it back to me, and then I call you with your placement. They require the IVP fingerprint clearance card. I'm not even able to submit your request unless I have that IVP fingerprint clearance card. So again, schools are very different. If there's forms that you need to complete, they are right next to their school name. That's all I'm going to spend there on that one. Then let's go to this by category, and then I'm going to click Perform Search Now. This is an application within the web, so things are a little bit different than you're probably used to on some applications. So this, where you need to go is create a find and submit. So I'm going to click this. So let's say I want to know what's in the zip code of where I live or by where I work, whatever. So I'm just going to put in the zip code of the Southern and Dobson campus of 85202. Because this is an application in the web, hitting enter just doesn't quite work. If you see this yellow toolbar, you need to click continue. So continue. And it shows currently that there are 12 opportunities in the zip code of 85202. So you can scroll. And just like the other one, it has, the description, the service tabs. So you can scroll and find which ones are of interest to you. Oh, MCC Rose Garden. How cool. Yeah, we have actually one of the world's largest rose gardens, and it's won a lot of awards and things like that. So they have opportunities there. Let me go back to create another find. Let's say you actually, if you saw I had keywords, let's say you're passionate about homelessness and you want to do something around homelessness. So you click on there. Know that that's only if the agencies have identified that they have something around homelessness. So do I click enter? Nope. I need to come over here and click continue. Oh, there's 14 agencies who have that have said we have something to do with homelessness. So you can scroll through them to see who has and what they have and what they're needing. And just know on the service opportunities, sometimes what they have here, you could even call and, talk to them about it, because they might have other opportunities that they just haven't listed here. Or you might have some skills that they're like, oh, we could really use those skills. I'm not guaranteeing it, because I had a student at the end of her sociology class give me her log, and she goes, oh my gosh, my service learning was so dumb. All I did was file, type, and answer phones. I'm like, oh, really? Well, let's see what you agree to. So I pulled out that confirmation form. You remember I said it was a contract? We pulled that out and we looked at it, and I said, hey, well, what'd you agree to do on your service? And what do you think it said? File, type, and answer phones. Well, I said, if that's not what you wanted to do, then why did you agree to do it? She goes, well, I thought they would change what I was going to do for my service. Not necessarily. So, we had a good then discussion how what she did really did relate to her, her course and how it benefited the agency. So just know whatever you put on that contract could be the only thing that you do, or it could change because, like I said, they get to know you, you get to know them, your talents, your skills come into play. So let's do another find example of how you can use this. Let's say you want to search a particular agency by name to see if it's in the database. So I'm going to type in boy, because let's spell boy correctly. Like, it's so hard to spell boy. And then do I hit enter? No. I come over here and click continue, because I'm interested in the Boys and Girls Club. Well, Boys Thompson Arboretum, that's not the Boys and Girls Club. Why is it pulling up there? Let's see. Oh, there's the Boys and Girls Club. Okay, what do they have available? So that's how you'll use it. Really important. See these two eyes that say look? You need to check that it actually says that this agency is available up here. Because sometimes the way some students they find a closed agency. You do not want to serve at an agency that's closed. If you see an agency and it says it's closed, send me an email and I will tell you if you can add it or not. There's lots of reasons why agencies are closed. So let me know. And with that, if you really, really, really want to serve in an agency that's not listed in our database, you potentially can. Just know it can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years to add them as an agency. So it might not be beneficial for you to add a new community partner at this point. Again, if you want to work on adding a community partner, you'll send me an email and we can work to do that. So that is our agency database. Another place you might look for service, probably not necessarily for your classes, however, I'm just going to show you, is our MCC Serves. This is found on our website under the Events and Opportunities tab. And And these are events that our agencies have that they need help with. And the cool thing is maybe you are doing something for your service learning, yet you just want to go volunteer because you have extra time and you want something to do that weekend. Come here, come check it out, and see if there's something you can do. Obviously in the spring we had a lot more. These get added to all the time, so check back often. Now, a new feature, a new thing we have on our website, again under the Events and Opportunities tab on the left-hand side, is a virtual service opportunities. Just like MCC serves, those are getting added too. So maybe you don't want to serve in person with people, then you can see if any of these virtual service opportunities work for you. So I'll just click on the top one, a new leaf. It says, what they need and, if there's any requirements. So check those out if that is a need or a benefit or fit for you. So to recap, let's see, actually, again, I said there's more awards and scholarships. I would encourage you to come to our awards page. We have a couple of different awards we offer out of our office. There's lots of scholarships. This service learning experience you can use on your resumes and scholarship applications. So let's do a recap. What you put into this service learning experience is what you'll get out of it. What I need before you start your service is your placement confirmation form and your assumption risk and release of liability form. So those need to get turned in. The packet says how I need them by emailing them or faxing them to me. And then you're going to serve. You're going to do whatever instructor assignments and different discussions and things that your instructor has. And then when you're done, you're going to turn in your contact log. And then I'm going to issue certificates to you in your primary service learning class as long as you submit all your paperwork, serve at an approved community partner, and that they'll be issued in your primary service learning class. So I hope you have a fabulous semester. I'm Dawn Rhodes. I'm the Service Learning Program Coordinator here at Mesa Community College. I'm here to help you. The department, the staff in the Center for Community and Civic Engagement, or Engagement Center for short, are here to help you. And we just are excited about all the opportunities that you can have during your experience at Mesa Community College.